Okay, so we've reached the quarter-final stage of the Women's World Cup down in Australia and New Zealand. Now, Australia, the co-hosts, were playing France. It went to penalties, and Australia have come out on top after a very, very thrilling game. This game had nerves in it, had a lot of chances in it, swings of momentum, but remained goalless the whole way through. The penalty shootout, however, was entertaining and nerve-wracking as a neutral. Now, obviously, Australia will play the winners of England and Colombia, which is the final quarter-final, which takes place literally, as I'm recording this video, the kick-off is in 20 minutes. So, because of the extra time and the penalties, the lengthy penalty shootout, it was a lengthy penalty shootout. It dragged on and on and on. There was even a penalty retake in the penalty shootout. The actual play itself, both sides started off quite nervy. Sam Kerr, who is not fully fit, did not play the entire game, came off the bench, but throughout the game there were periods of action and nerves and also sloppy play, just general sloppy play. The French, on paper, are favourites, were favourites, but in reality they looked very, very nervy at the back at times. Both goalkeepers have had decent games, except the French, just before the penalty shootout, decided to substitute goalkeepers. Perrault, I think, is the starting French goalkeeper, subbed off for Renard. I didn't understand that. I don't like that. I don't like substituting goalkeepers who just before a penalty shootout. I'm not a fan of it, but it's within the rules because you can make tactical substitutions at any time. But I'm not a fan of it, and it nearly paid off because Renaud made some nice saves in the shootout. Not a fan of it. The game itself, the swings of momentum were there. The French had some opportunities. Mackenzie Arnold has proven to be the hero. Is this quarter-final the Cathy Freeman moment of Australian women's football or soccer for the Matildas? Is this their Cathy Freeman moment? Because Arnold had a good game in the 90 minutes and the extra time, pulling off some great saves in regulation, and then in the penalty shootout, pulling off some great saves as well. And then she took one. She was the 5th penalty taker for Australia, which she properly walloped into the post. But that could have been the moment. It drags on. In the end, it went to 7-6 on penalties. 3 penalties were missed or saved from Australia. France missed or had 4 penalties saved themselves. It was one of them. The game itself, the Suncorp Stadium surface generally cuts up. It's an issue that they've had at Suncorp in Brisbane. Held up pretty well throughout the game. But I think Australia have to play a lot better if they're to beat England or Colombia. They were very sloppy at moments defensively. They rode their luck. Same with the French. The French weren't the French side that we've seen in previous women's tournaments. They looked nervy at times, sloppy at times, rushed. I think that was the occasion. A sellout Suncorp of over 50,000, heavily weighted towards Australia. I think the nerves played upon the Australians because it was a sellout stadium. The French, the crowd's against them, and it is a pressure cooker. So it's finished 7-6 on penalties. I think Mackenzie Arnold, in play and in the penalty shootout, I think was probably Australia's best player, the goalkeeper. Had a fantastic game. Sam Kerr, I think her fitness going forward into the semi-final and potentially the final or the 3rd, 4th place playoff. She didn't come on until midway through the second half. Didn't look as explosive with her sprinting and acceleration. That still has to be a concern, that calf problem is still lingering and she can't complete 90 minutes. It's going to be interesting to see how, if England and Colombia doesn't go to extra time and penalties, how the recovery as well, because Sam Kerr being so key, and other players as well in this Australian lineup playing lengthy minutes. A lot of them played the entire game, obviously. How many changes are made for the semi-final, and will Sam Kerr be fit enough to maybe get brought on early or even start the semi-final? So that ongoing fitness concern is an issue. Do they run the risk of starting her in the next game? But there we go. France, another big nation out. Australia, never been to the semi-finals before. This could be their Cathy Freeman moment where they now go on and the nerves are off and the shackles are off and they have no fear because they've never been to this stage before now. So to the semi-final stage. So we'll see what happens. But England, favourites against Colombia, but as we've seen, France were favourites against Australia, and they couldn't pull it off. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comment section below on the game. Scrappy at times, entertaining at others, lots of goalmouth action, a lot of chances, and the penalty shootout was very entertaining. And there was a retaken penalty. They are enforcing that goalkeeper encroachment. So there was a retaken penalty in that shootout. The retaken penalty was saved anyway. But Mackenzie Arnold has, in my opinion, was Australia's best player in regulation and in the shootout. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.